Okay, so this is following on from the last video I just did, which was Sarah's tag about non-Dolly biography tag, which I just did, and I'm following on with BJD Addicts prompt number 41, I think, which is my BJD Journey, sort of. So without further ado, I'll try and be as quick as I can. I've got stuff scattered around that I hoped I would have within reach for some of these questions. I've just scanned through them, so here we go. How did you first find out about BJDs? When I first started using Facebook, I saw that a friend of mine's profile picture looked like a doll. So yeah, when I had a look at her picture, it wasn't even hers, it was a friend of hers doll, I believe, and it was a really cool looking gothic Wednesday Addams style Blythe doll. Never really been into dolls, to be honest, or toys or any, you know, cuddly toys and that kind of thing. I've never really been a girly girl, but this captured my imagination. It was probably the gothic thing. I did go through a goth phase when I was a teenager, and so I sort of started looking through Flickr and web images and stuff, and I don't think Flickr was around then, was it? I don't know, just picture pages, and of course stumbled across BJDs. And when I started proper researching BJDs, you know, the Blythes went by the wayside. I still had a bit of a soft spot for them, but these stunning dolls that look like real people, I just started following the chain. And I think somewhere along my progress, I found Madame Mau Mau on Den of Angels. She's got a doll called Mauzi, I think, which is an Ippelhaus Jessica, I think. Which is just stunning. So yeah, that's what started me off, and then I spent a good 6 months researching before I even looked at my wallet and contemplated that scary first step. So brings me on to question 2. What was my first BJD? It was Rose, who is... can I point? There, there she is. I'm pointing behind there, that doll there in the background. She is a doll in mind Luria. Currently looking rather innocuous and not particularly stylised in any way, shape or form, but I just fell in love with the face sculpt. She really stuck out to me when I was looking for dolls, and I just couldn't resist, although yeah, she's definitely the first doll I saw, I think, but around the same time I was quite smitten with Doll Jewel, which was Doll was a brand new company then. Jewel was the first sculpt they did, I think. Yeah, it was. Although I was late on when they did the rosy brown tan version, so they'd already released another doll by then. I think the Fenrir. Fenris. Reminds me of werewolves. Whatever. Anyway, so even though Rose was my official first doll, the Jewel was the first one to turn up. I actually kind of bought 2 dolls to start me into the hobby. And Rose has had so many different forms and faces and the like, and guises, whereas my Jewel has had one, and I've hardly done anything with him. He's still pending something special. It's that I think I'm kind of procrastinating over the armour, because it's going to be quite a job painting that up. But anyway, enough of that. 3, what's my favourite company? I've probably got to say Fairyland, just because of their sculpts. I quite like the Ippelhaus Elder dolls, the look of them. I'm not sure I could handle such a big doll. I would be very tempted by I'm sure it's Jessica that I'm thinking of. But no, Fairyland, I've got a Pookie and I've got a Little Fee, and they're both great. Can't fault them at all. And from what I've seen of the mini fees, they're adorable as well. The shape and the form, and they've really perfected their skill. I think it's such a shame that they get so many fakes, copies, what they're called, recasts. I'm really not a big fan, I have to say. I would prefer it if people stop admitting that they get recasts, because it's really down to the fact that I have a big interest in the film industry, and the whole thing about piracy came up many years ago. And when you see the amount of I've got friends who are extras in films, and they do like 18-hour days to get a shot and stuff like that. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And the whole thing about England getting the film industry back up and running, because there was a long time where people went abroad and did all their filming elsewhere, and the country wasn't getting the income that it used to from films, in the Bond days and all that kind of stuff. And it's just beginning to catch up with itself a little bit now. But then, pirate films take all of that away. It makes it really hard to get any juice and any creativity back into something. And it's the same thing with clothes. This is why I like recycling and buying my things from charity shops. I'm not going to go into Primark and see a shirt and go, oh, look at the sequins, it's all sparkly and lovely, I've got to buy that for £2.50 or however cheap they are. Because some 6-year-old in, I don't know, Delhi, in a basement with his family, has been working by hand, putting all those things on for like 1p an hour. Not even that. Like, ignorance isn't an excuse. So with the recasts, whoever's doing the recast is taking similar amounts of money for none of the effort. There are sculptors and artists that put time and effort into making these dolls, and I think it's such a shame when it's like, well, I don't care, it doesn't affect me, so I'm just going to buy that because it's a little bit cheaper and it looks the same anyway. No, no, please just find out what you're doing first. So anyway, sorry, rant over, it's not the place for a rant. So how do I explore my creativity in this hobby? Well, I make things. I like making clothes when I get the time. I like crafting, so I've made a little balloon for Rose. She likes her red balloon, and it looks like it's floating and everything, so I'm quite pleased with that. Felts, yes, needle felting. I know there's been a lot of mention of it lately. That's a little naive bunny. I was doing felting before I got into dolls anyway, to be honest. I mean, there's a sort of a random sheep that I started. It's a bit of a sad looking sheep, but I was making dice bags for my little pirate endeavour with wet felt, and from the wet felt I went into needle felting. There's a little naive sort of shaker heart that was going to get mounted and have little things sewn into it. I was going to put beads and sewing and stuff on there, but never got around to it again. It's just like old felting stuff. What else? Face-ups, of course. I love doing face-ups. That's my favourite thing in the doll hobby. Even random things like for my 100 subscriber video, because we made the little piratey film, I sort of randomly just knocked up a voodoo doll, the Jack Sparrow voodoo doll, which I can now use as a prop for when we do our pirate stuff. But, that's made out of bamboo twigs, stuffing and bandages. And hair. Not my hair. It's like sheep hair and alpaca hair and little felted dreadlocks and stuff. So, all sorts of ways. Creativity, love it. All sorts of things I've made and done. Can't even think of them all. Costumes, swaps. Just a big sharing experience. How did you get started doing this? What, the creativity? I've always done art and crafts. I did art at school. I did graphic design at college. And I like physically making things. I much prefer doing physical stuff, 3D making things, as opposed to painting and drawing. I think that having done graphic design, there was enough of that involved in the course, and I'm much more hands-on. Yeah, I have done painting and stuff. I'm not sure, I might be able to insert a tiny little clip of a painting I did for my brother in 1998, 96, something like that. She's some Tony and Guy model that he really liked at the time that I copied, and then the rest of it is he's a bit of a druid, my brother, so it's all full of symbology, and she's what does she represent? She's supposed to be Danae of the Tuatha De Danann of Celtic mythology, and she's coming out of a rift with all the stars and stuff in the background, and she's coming out into a misty, fey kind of forest. So yeah, that was done with acrylics on canvas. It's like the first and last time I did a big canvas. Not my thing really. Yes, it looks pretty at the end of it, sketching and drawing and cartoons and stuff, but there are so many other people that do it so much better than me. I'll let them do that. Do I have a certain style? Oh, hang on. Where do I buy most of my items from? Charity shops, funnily enough. I always find all sorts of props and stuff like that. I won't go into it now. I found bicycles and stuff for making things with. Secondhand clothes, a brilliant source for materials. Etsy I look at. The only thing I've ever bought from Etsy was some alpaca fur, funnily enough, to reroute my Blythe. I love Wimmocked clothing. I love Moshi designs. Moshi Hillary, who actually made this. She came to the Makey meet. This top that Mushroom is wearing, because she's the same size as Blythe. She usually does Blythe clothes, that woman. So yeah, but where do I usually buy my stuff from? eBay, I think, really. Or trades and swaps and that kind of thing with, at meets with people. I'm trying to jog my memory. Oh, and the expo, yeah, just events where there's likely to be doll stuff. Do you have a certain style for your dolls? No, I don't. Nothing specific at all, because I feel that if I was to specify what my dolls were about, once I've done them, I wouldn't need to do anything else. So there would be no enjoyment in it for me. This, funnily enough, Mushroom Makey is the closest thing I've got to somebody who's fully realised. She is my little hippie, my little British hippie girl, and she was designed that way. I mean, because with Makeys you get to design the whole face before you've even got it, even though it's blank. You've started your visionary process when you've looked at the face. I know that's the same with BJDs, but because I got to do the face, there's that little element of extra imprint on it. I'll come to them in a minute. They're brilliant dolls, they really are. What size do you prefer or have the most of? For convenience, I actually quite like the 6th scale ones. My USD, as it transpires, is slightly bigger than 6th scale. I'm not sure she's going to fit in with that crew. But Mushroom, my Makey, my Blythe, my A-Zone, I don't know, Monster Highs, Barbies, all that kind of thing, they all fit into the 6th scale bracket, and I quite like that size. Obviously he's really tiny. He's in between a yo and a tiny. I suppose he still falls into the OSD category, but he fits all this sort of furniture really well. It's like made for his size. So he's even smaller than 6th scale, really, I guess. Anyway, do I prefer them? I actually quite like MSDs, if I'm honest, but I like 6th scale as well. I don't know. Oh God, I'm not very good at this, am I? Do you have more male than female dolls? No. Yeah, I have more girls, definitely. Have you ever sold a doll and... Oh no, hang on. Tell us a little about one of your dolls. I won't go into too much depth. This is a Makey doll. I know it's off topic for a BJD prompt, but they're so similar. They're fully posable. You can put eyes in and everything. They're plastic, not resin. They're nylon, but they're 3D printed. So they're made with lasers, nylon powder and magic, basically. They are printed out of nothing. You design, if you go to Makey Factory on your iPhone or iPad, or it's the App Store, you can design your own. It's an avatar builder, basically. There's going to be a game launched in autumn, in which your avatar will, play, I guess. But for now, they're just a doll designer. So you create your avatar and then you can get it printed. It's brilliant. If you're in London or England, they're actually selling limited edition characters from the game before the game is released in Selfridges in London, box sets, big limited ones. They sort of compare to ball joint doll prices, because they are very unique and specialist, but they don't yellow, they don't age the same way as resin, and I find them extremely addictive. I've got another one on the way. I've got a boy, I've got her brother on the way. So yeah, Makey.me is the website. They are Makielab, part of Makey World, very small, still, just sort of out of alpha, but brilliant. I'm big fan. Woo, fangirl. Have you ever sold a doll and why? No, not yet. I might sell one of my with dolls though, because I got the second body. I got 2 heads when I originally got it, so I've got 2 virtually of the same doll. I don't need 2. Why? Oh, and I have sold a Ying. Doll's Own Ying head was my practice head when I first started out in the hobby. In fact, really, that was the first doll I got. I think I got it before my Luria and had a little practice, but I sold that. Yeah, because I never had him envisioned for a doll. I just got him because he was cheap at the time. Where do I go to connect to other BJD owners' meets? I met some at the expo as well this year. I've yet to organise one locally, but I do want to because I know there's a few girls in my vicinity nearby. I've been to Blythe meets as well, and also Makielab do meets, because, you know, all us initial doll people that got involved in Makey said, oh, we've got to have a meet, you've got to do all that kind of stuff, and sure enough they do, and it's brilliant, really good fun. Do you tell everyone about your BJDs or not? If not, why not? I don't tell everyone about my dolls really, because generally it doesn't come up in conversation. If I happen to be doing something doll related on a night when somebody asks me to come out or whatever, I will tell them why, and they'll be quite interested. I've never been mocked or anything. It's not like I'm trying to hide it. It just doesn't come up in conversation particularly. Occasionally there'll be pictures on my Facebook page, but again, it's a personal Facebook page. It's not doll themed, and I'm not going to spam people with pictures of dolls all the time, because I understand not everybody's into it. Doesn't bother me particularly. I may start a Facebook page, one of those pages, because I know some of my friends are becoming interested. They're just curious more than anything, and that's where it all starts really, isn't it? That initial curiosity. So no, not specifically, but I don't really hide it either. Why not? 14, how old are you? I'm 41. Yes, I suppose it helps illustrate the diversity of people that are in the hobby. I must admit though, I don't feel 41. I still think I'm 17 most of the time. You're as young as you feel, or as old as you feel, or whatever. So yes, that's how old I am. 15. What's my grail doll? Well, up until a couple of months ago, it was a Unoa. I was desperate to get a Unoa, specifically a Lucis. I do think the Lucis face is very pretty, but I was extremely fortunate to get a Unoa with lots of other faceplates, parts, bits, bobs, hands, bunny ears. I don't know if are they showing on the video. They kind of are. Yeah, she's got one pair of the bunny ears in, glasses. I think there are different chest. Flat chest bit, wigs. They're default wigs, which are great because they've got the little holes to fix the headpieces in. She's got horns and bunny ears. I think, did I get cat ears? I don't think I got bothered with cat ears. Yeah, there's a white one here as well. So yeah, all sorts. She's pretty worn. She's a 2000, oh god, when was she? Yeah, she's a 2003 Gentaro Araki. She's got, this is the default face up. I was quite surprised to find a default face up in the box as well. But I haven't done anything with her yet. Unfortunately, because of the circumstances in which I got her were a little bit topsy-turvy, a little bit sort of, the guy that I bought her from doesn't know anything about dolls. There's the backstory to my Unoa. Is on my blog. It's rather long-winded, a bit verbose, but it's a lovely story really, and it means quite a lot to me. But she's ended up, I'm sure she's got the wrong feet. She can't stand. I've got her in boots at the moment. I know you can't see that on the video. Perhaps if I won't bother lifting her up because something will fall over or fall off or the cup will come out or whatever. But yeah, hopefully he's going to send me some default feet. I don't think she's got the right type of feet on, and also I have a little bit of a problem with this chest piece. Her head tends to flip forward because I think somebody in the past has sanded the neck part. But yes, I've got her and I've yet to do stuff with her. She needs a full clean, a full restringing, and I've got plenty of face plates to be doing face ups on. So that's going to keep me busy for quite some time. But anyway, that's currently my ball joint doll journey. I can't tell you how many dolls I've got at the minute. I haven't bothered counting them up. I'm sure I've mentioned them all at some point during this video. Thank you very much for sticking it out. I know these are quite long, but I will be back to normal transmission shortly. I must do an update. I'm very, very, very overdue. So thanks again and have a good day. Enjoy.